They have to. You have to educate yourself because the way the world is now, technology and social media, everything, schools need to change. He's still there.
What's going on? Ow. Now that's an alien.
Right?
Take my blood, bring it back to its home base.
And then clone you. Let's not take advantage of people.
He's not taking advantage of people if you look at it.
Well, he's making his money off other people's shit.
If I taught you how to drop ship, and I taught you how to make $5,000 a month, where you didn't have to work for somebody else, am I a villain? Alrighty guys, welcome back to another episode of Trail Talk and Evolve. My name is Matt.
Hi, I'm Jason.
Oh, I'm also Jason.
And we're going on a hike in the rain.
Like we said we would.
Rain,
Sadly.
shine, or snow. We're showing up for you. We're showing up to let you know that no matter what the climate is, that we're gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna say show up 5 more times, show up. Show up. Why aren't you here? Oh, you are walking with us? Cool. Oh,
Secretly? In the
You're-
trees? Stalking us? Awesome.
oh, you're on the treadmill? Even better. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're walking down the street, walking on a treadmill, or in this beautiful landscape with us. The fact that you're out getting that money today, we're proud of you.
So today's a special day. It's haircut day for the boy.
Not me.
Get rid of it.
This one.
So we're thinking reverse mohawk.
Don't even know what that is.
It's just shaved right down the middle. I think it's a good idea.
I think that's terrible.
You're gonna have 2 tails on each side? That'd be sweet.
I don't think my hair's long enough for that.
Let me braid it, it'll be long enough.
Maybe.
There's this one guy. Have you guys know what Omegle is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this one guy that does fake skips. He makes it look like the thing is skipping, and then he does like fucked up shit. Like he'll make it look like his neck is twisting all the way around and like scare the crap out of people.
What?
Or he'll just like pretend like his girlfriend is kidnapped and like have like something wrapped around her face, and then like skip really quick. It's hilarious, but he's basically in a house with like 5 other people or maybe more. I don't know, depends on the one. And one of the guys that he fake skips to has a reverse mohawk.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like brown hair in the middle and then dyed blonde on either side.
Nice.
And then like he'll like, I'm gonna kill your family, and then he'll skip and then go to that guy, and they'll be like, oh my god, this guy said he's gonna kill my family, and then that guy comes in from behind them and he's like, don't you tell anyone. It's so good. I love his content. And we should put him up in the description there.
Shall we go this way?
I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah, on the road.
I'm on the road again.
So, Ax, you had a question that you wanted to ask?
So, if you guys, let's say they started colonizing Mars, right? Mm-hmm. It's not fully completed, but it's started and there's shit there, right? Would you guys go up there, Mars?
What is there exactly?
Enough.
What's enough?
Enough for, I don't know, population.
So what, there's food available, water available.
It's just you gotta do more. You gotta do more so then more people can go over there.
So it's like the beginning where they're like still finding all the resources on the planet and how to use new compounds that weren't on Earth that are on Mars, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what's our situation here?
I mean, I don't know whatever the situation is.
Is that
Well,
falling
well-
apart?
No, I'm saying like Matt, you have a family, you're starting a family.
Yeah.
You are my family, and you're almost grown, so I really don't have anything holding me back. Matt has a family, and I think you mentioned before your wife wouldn't want to do something like that.
No way. We've talked about it before.
So, is it my situation where I don't really have anything holding me back, or is it Matt's situation,
Whatever situation you want it to be.
or if it's just your situation that you have currently? Still no for me.
What?
Because I don't know, it's not really my thing. I find all that fascinating, but it's not something I would want to put myself into. I've seen too many movies.
But it's just like camping.
Yeah, but when you're done camping, you can get out of the tent, get in your car, drive home,
Yeah.
and be safe. There's no going home and being safe.
It's an extreme version of camping.
Well, I think it's like you can only go to Mars in certain, like when it's like aligned in a certain way.
Yeah.
So like you had to stay there for at least 6 months or 6 years or whatever until the thing lined back up. And I don't know the exact time frame, but
Yeah.
so you couldn't just pack up and go. You'd have to ride out to the next cycle and hope that everything was ready and prepared by then too.
Yep.
And plus, at my age, if I was maybe 20 years younger, yeah, that's probably something I'd do.
And I think I have a dual perspective. If, like right now, current state, I'm working on building a family. So, no. Plus, like, well, yeah. Right now, where I'm at currently, no. Just because I'm working on building a family, and I wouldn't want to leave my kids with the chance of never getting to see them again before I even meet them, But, say, this is like before I met Athena, before I met my wife, and,
What the fuck?
where are they going?
That's the question, isn't it?
So yeah, it was like before I met Athena, and I was just kind of in my solo grind, and I was just doing my thing, living on my own like I was before. I think, yeah, I might want to build one of the first businesses on Mars. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, right now, where I'm at currently, no. But it's an interesting question because originally I started following Elon Musk in like 2017, 18, before like he really started building these $1 trillion companies. Like it was just at the beginning, and he had already built some big things, PayPal, and there was another one he built with his brother early on. Doesn't get talked about a lot. Anyways, they sold it for a good amount of money. Zip something or something or other. But I've been watching his journey, and I remember in like 2018, 19, he said by 2024 we'll have stuff on Mars ready to colonize essentially. And I think that was an early prediction, but I think most predictions are early. You can't really, for something that crazy and that new, you can't really say, hey, we're gonna do this exactly on this date. But at the same time, I still believe that he is going to do the thing. He is going to accomplish what he sets out to do. Right that way. Yeah.
Yeah, if not him, someone's going to take up those reins if he doesn't accomplish it in his lifetime. Someone else will pick that up and keep it moving forward.
I hope though, because when was the last time we sent somebody, well, let me rephrase that. Before Elon and Jeff Bezos started these rocket companies, NASA was at the point of almost getting defunded,
Yeah, you got to ask yourself why.
Yeah. There's stuff they don't want us to know.
So we'll go down the conspiracy theorist
Yep, good segue.
route. As far as your, have you guys been watching or heard about the whistleblower that the government has aliens and blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So, as much as I want there to be aliens, and for that to be true, another civilization out there in the stars somewhere that's making contact with us, it's fucking sweet. From a nerd brain who loves sci-fi, science, space shit. Just everything just seems a little too convenient at the moment.
Manufactured.
Yeah. You have a mosquito on your face by your left eye. They're just fucking digging in there. He was deep. He's still there.
It's still
What
there.
is going on? Ow. Now that's an alien.
Right?
Take my blood, bring it back to its home base.
And then clone you.
Yeah.
That's stuff.
So no, I haven't been watching it that closely because, in all honesty, I really don't believe it. I don't believe it the way they're saying it.
Right.
Because there's on the panel that they had, I think there's 3 guys talking about their experiences. One of them just seems like a complete liar, like was put there by the government to
Trying to get attention.
Yeah. maybe distract from something else. And the other 2 guys, one was a pilot for the Air Force, I believe. And don't quote me, because do your own research. I don't have any facts. He was on the Rogan podcast some years ago, talking about his experiences and what he saw. Huh?
Gray hair dude?
Yeah. Gray hair, glasses. He was talking about his experiences and what he saw himself personally, not from someone else's words. So, I don't know.
Well, look at it like this too. Like, say a different country has been developing this new flying technology.
That's just it. It's not a different country.
What do you mean?
We're developing this shit.
Whoa, okay.
By we, I mean the country of America.
Yeah. Well, yeah, say we're developing it or another country is, and all the UFO is an unidentified
No,
flying object.
they're not UFOs anymore.
Oh yeah, they're
UAPs.
UAPs, yeah. What does that even stand for?
I forget. Unidentified aeronautical pussy.
Yeah, so basically a UFO.
They're just talking about, well, the one guy, the one who I feel like was planted there by the government. He's the most recent one. He came out a couple weeks ago talking about this, and the other guy, the one I actually believe, who was a pilot in the military, that happened to him in 2004.
Yeah.
And we're just now talking about it. I mean, he's talked about it before, but I don't know. I trust him
Yeah.
over the other guy.
Well, and then there's the whole thing too, like, none of this stuff was talked about until files got uncovered for it, right? And then we talked about this the other day, but like, is it trying to normalize the thing? Are they trying to get us prepared for something that could happen? And or is it just, hey, look over here, let's talk about something crazy.
Yeah,
And then we're just gonna pass this bill with a bunch of fucked up shit in it.
that's where I feel it's going.
Because, I don't know, in my opinion, the reality of our government is strictly, they make the decisions. We have no real control and or say in what happens. They just do this thing that, oh, you guys have the power.
No, because
Make the decisions.
information is power. What's the average citizen's, how much information do they have on anything the government's doing?
Ooh, fun fact. I think it's 80% of our country reads at a 5th grade level.
Sounds about right.
Seriously. But from that perspective is, if that's the type of information most people absorb within our country,
Yeah, and the dumb are easily controlled.
Exactly. And going back to your point, knowledge is power. The understanding, and what we're doing right now, walking and talking about it, hopefully will inspire some other people to educate themselves a little deeper.
They have to. You have to educate yourself because the schooling systems for the government ran schooling system hasn't changed. And I don't know how long. Hasn't changed. And the way the world is now, technology and social media, everything, schools need to change.
Yeah, but at the same token, they don't want school to change. That's why they're trying to take down people like Andrew Tate that are showing people how to become financially free outside of the workforce and do it on their own. And I'm not saying Andrew Tate's a fucking
Yeah, that's a bad
angel
example.
or he's the best guy in the world, but my point is,
It's a bad example.
it is, but it isn't, because
From a moral standpoint, it's a bad example.
okay, but do it from a financial standpoint and an anti-government standpoint.
Anti-government.
As a person,
Let's not take advantage of people.
but if he's not taking advantage of people, if you look at it,
Well, he's making his money off other people's shit.
hold on, hear me out.
I know, I'm sorry.
You keep trying to dilute my story, but the thing is if I taught you how to drop ship, and I taught you how to make $5,000 a month, where you didn't have to work for somebody else, am I a villain? Even if I asked you to pay me $50 a month to learn the thing.
Not if you're actually teaching something.
Right, but there's plenty of examples of people from his course making more than $5,000 a month. So from that side of him, that's what I see. And now I'll give you my example. Maxwell Finn, okay? He teaches how to run ads on TikTok. I found him on the internet from an ad, and I looked deeper into it. I noticed that he worked with businesses like ClickFunnels and worked with somebody that I respect, Alex Hormozi. So I said, he's worked with this massive company that I've been familiar with for, 7 years. He works with this guy and he taught him how to do the thing. So I'm going to invest thousands of dollars into this guy to teach me how to do the thing. Now, is he a bad guy for taking money from me and teaching me how to do something? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is he?
No.
Right. And I think not anything Andrew Tate says or does, but just that sole factor of teaching people how to become financially free, that in itself. So he may not be a great example, but we can switch it over to Maxwell.
And I just brought that up because you know so many, or you follow so many different extremely successful business people.
Yeah.
And you went with Andrew Tate. I just thought that was funny.
Well, because this is why. All the business people I follow give away all their advice for free. Right? So I can't use them as a financially paid example because I've had to study them over the last 6 years to learn what I've learned from them. Because it's not like they just put a course out and say, hey, this is how you do the thing. They did it piece by piece, year by year, and instilled these thoughts and traits into my head.
And you didn't spend a dime.
And I didn't spend a dime.
Minus what you pay for internet and your phone, whatever.
But I spent 6 years, and in my opinion, time is far more valuable of an asset. So if I can have accelerated learning, and that's why I took this ads course, because I can learn what I need to learn in 6 weeks versus spending another 6 years trying to learn the thing. All right, not saying that I have all business.
All right, look at it from this angle. You took 6 years to learn whatever. Doesn't have to be a business.
Yeah.
It takes 6 years to learn whatever. In that 6 years, not only did you learn that thing, you developed your own personal way to do that thing.
Yep.
And now it's yours. Almost perfected in your mind. It takes 6 weeks to learn that thing. All you did was learn that thing. It's not yours.
Well, but from the other side too, I took 6 weeks accelerated to learn to make it my own, right? Yes, I'm gonna have to spend another year refining what I've learned, but instead of me learning for the next year and refining in that way, I get the core stuff I need to know to be successful and then make it my own.
And if you're going to partner with someone business-wise, and someone you don't know, and they look at your portfolio and they see, okay, you spent 6 weeks in this thing.
Yeah.
I'm fucking losing my breath.
I know, we're at a good pace right now.
We are, I like it. So yeah, they look at your portfolio. It's 6 weeks of learning this thing. That's sweet. And look at your other portfolio, 6 years of working on this thing.
Yeah.
I want that guy.
Well, don't you want the guy that has both?
No, I want the guy who's been doing it for 6 years. He knows it.
Right. But at the same time, I don't know. From my personal opinion, I took the 6 years to learn what I know. And here's the caveat, right? I do not believe in traditional schooling. I really don't. I think unless you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, it's virtually useless. And even if you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, and engineer, you are still going to have to spend the rest of your life learning your craft. Because there's a doctor that has been being a doctor for 20 years and then hasn't done any studying, just practiced what he knows. But what he knows is 20 years outdated at that point, right? And that's why, like, for me, I've dedicated the rest of my life to learning and growing and developing, so that way I can say my 6-week ag course that I took 6 years later, I'm one of the best fucking marketers there is in the entire world because I gave myself a leg up and continued to learn after that.
Well, yeah, should always never stop learning. But yeah, same thing. I'll take Matt with 6 years plus the 6 weeks over Matt with just the 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or anybody.
So you don't want to jump over it?
No.
And I'm gonna nerd this out a little bit, but I think it speaks true to life in general. The Sith and the Jedi. There's claims that the Sith are stronger than the Jedi in the Force, which is somewhat true, because the Sith get strong really fast, then they get burnt out. The Force literally burns them out, destroys their body, kills them. Jedi, on the other hand, take the slow approach as far as learning and developing their powers, which in fact extends their life. My point anyway, is speeding through something to get a final result is going to give you a shitty result.
If your intention is to be proficient at the end of the speed, right? But if your intention is...
That's my always intention for everything. You get ahead by being proficient.
I agree, but I also disagree, just because it's like, I feel like we're saying the same thing.
We are, but in my brain, it sounds like you're advocating for a quick, easy route to get to the end game.
Not quick, easy, accelerated. How can I learn more in a shorter period of time from someone that knows the shit? Like, you learn from somebody, like all the guys I follow, right? They've spent 20 years building businesses, right? So my accelerated daily learning from them, that's accelerated learning for free. But over the course of the last 6 years, I've just done it every day, you know?
Let's take a break real quick.
And
That's up here.
Right over there, it's all open. We're gonna get rained on.
We're getting rained on from the trees.
Not as
dripping
much.
off the leaves.
Yeah, it's dripping off the leaves.
Not by much. Not as much.
Anyways, so like, in a way, my 6 years accelerated learning, it's still technically accelerated learning, because they're teaching me what they learned over 20 years
Yeah.
in a shorter period of time. And with the course, in my opinion, it's the same thing, but focused, right? I couldn't reach out to Gary Vee or Ed Milet and say, hey, I need to know X, Y, Z. Can you teach me how to run ads on TikTok, right? They taught me whatever was on their mind and in their heart at that given moment, you know? I believe in accelerated learning with the intention to continue to learn, to just get not an easy fix or an easy win, but a better understanding of the thing, so that you can continue to develop it.
Oh, show.
Wanna stop
I
here?
agree with that. 1,000%.
I don't know. I was gonna like go on the sponsorship route, but realistically, I don't know. And my gut's telling me it's still better for us to create our own products instead of looking for sponsors.
I mean, we don't have to look for them. Next time someone comes up to us and asks us, like, hey, yo.
That's not how shit works. They're not gonna be like, oh, can you advertise for us? You have to ask. You have to reach out to 100 people, and you got to find people that align with your values and morals.
Well, aren't there those people, like once we have a massive following, they just come knocking anyway?
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, for sure, but there's this side of, okay, so this is good. There's this person that came on the scene not even that long ago. I think April, she started podcasting, and she's very, very
Raspberries.
like dry. Her name's Bobby Adolph or something like that. But she's had Drake on. She's had Funny Marco. She's had huge guests in a short period of time that she's been doing this. And she had Mark Cuban on. And when she was sitting with Mark Cuban, she said, will you give me $20,000? She said, I'm $20,000 in debt from this podcast. And he's like, no. You know? And she just kept like asking. It was just like a funny bit, you know?
Yeah.
But she mentioned, he said, what, you don't have sponsors? She said, no, nobody's asked yet. And he said, of course nobody's gonna ask, because they don't know if your audience converts to anything.
Yeah.
It would be silly for them to say, hey, I don't know who your audience is. I don't know who listens, views, or watches, but can you run ads on your platform? He said, you need to reach out to people that align with your values and companies that you relate with, that your audience relates with, right? And that goes back to who the hell's watching our show, right? At this point, we don't know. When we're in the millions of followers and subscribers, we'll absolutely know who we're talking to, but we have to decide, is SeatGeek something that our audience is gonna, it's a huge, they advertise on all social medias and podcasts and YouTube and stuff like that. We'll beat the SeatGeek out, but no, we'll leave that in case they want sponsors at a later time.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends is always the one.
Well, see, there you go, and that's another one too. But who is our audience? Who is listening right now? That are, because if they give us $20,000, they're gonna want $40,000 in return.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna want to run a SeatGeek ad, although our audience stays in the house and never goes to concerts. You know?
Yeah.
So we have to find something that aligns with what we're doing. So whether that's a fitness or a video game or whatever, we got to figure that out. Or if we just want to create our own protein bars, because we had a protein bar before we started this hike today, you know, and it's something that aligns with our values and morals, and we're trying to teach people how to get in shape and eat the right things and not overload on calories. So, speaking of calories, Jason, you are the nutrition god. For the people listening that know that they want to start eating better, but don't know what the thing is, and they don't want to just eat dry chicken breasts, what could they eat that has low calories and high protein, or your balance, or whatever you think they need based on a goal to lose weight?
Well, at this point, what I've learned, you can eat fucking anything, as long as your calorie intake is below what you burn through the day if you want to lose weight. But studies have also shown over-processed foods are extremely bad for you. Your heart diseases, your chronic illnesses can be traced back to over-processed food. So just avoid that shit. Sugars, breads, whole grain.
Some sugar's okay though, right?
Like natural sugar. I mean, if you are an inactive person, sugar is the devil. It turns straight to fat and all the other shit, and it's not good for you. If you're active, if you're out in the trail talking or doing whatever you do, treadmill, bike,
Listen to this podcast.
a little bit of sugar is not going to hurt you at all. So basically, eat what you want in moderation. try to stay away from processed foods and sugar, and you're golden. It's not really that hard. But if you have specific goals, like you want to gain muscle, lose fat in a certain area, then you have to watch what you eat a little closer.
So I know what a caloric deficit is for my body type, and I know that it's different per person, but can you explain what being in a caloric deficit means to somebody that doesn't understand what that means?
Well, I forget what the average is, but the average person needs about 2,500 calories a day, or 1,500.
15, I think, or 18, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 15 to 20, we'll say. So yeah, if you just stay below 2,000, 1,500 calories,
You can take a longer break.
So staying below 2,000, 1,500 calories and tracking it, because that's the big thing. If you don't know what you're eating, you will not know if you're in a deficit or not. So there's a great app out there, and we're not sponsored by it, but it's called MyFitnessPal. It's completely free. You can pay for the paid version, but basically you punch in what you ate at each meal, and it'll tell you not only how many calories were in that, but it'll also break down your fats, your carbs, and your proteins within the calorie intake. So if you get that app or whatever app you're using, because you have another one too, right?
I don't use an app, I just calculate in my head.
But wasn't there an app that came with your,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it was called.
because you don't have to just do the one. Just look up calorie tracking apps in whatever app store you have.
It's MyFitnessPal.
Okay.
It came with my
Oh, it did? Okay.
smart scale.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's the one I've used in the past when I was trying to put on weight, because I'm like, how many calories do I have to eat? And I think I set my goal for 200 pounds on there. And a couple years ago, I was at 145 pounds soaking wet before I started being consistent at the gym. And really, that first year I put on like 40, 50 pounds. But now I'm down to floating around 180, a little less, 177 to 180. But when I was tracking it was saying that I have to eat 3,800 calories a day to put on a pound a week, I think it was.
Something like that.
Yeah. But that also, with a new understanding, needed to be a lot of protein, not a lot of fat.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to gain muscle, you have to have at least 0.8 grams of protein per pound that you weigh. So, Matt being 180, about 190, we need like 200 grams of fucking protein a day if we want to gain muscle.
Which I don't know if you ever tried to do that, but it's not easy. But it is possible. So a good wrap around that and how to get in and ingest the most protein possible. Every morning I've been starting with a protein shake and a protein bar and getting anywhere from 50 to 70 grams of protein before I even get to the gym. Today I got in 43 grams of protein before I linked up with these guys. I got another 30-gram protein bar in the car ready to consume as well. So I would have to say that arguably this has been one of the most challenging hikes, just because it is raining. It is kind of a crappy day. And I think if we're all being honest with ourselves, if we would have called each other and be like, hey, let's just chill at home today.
I'm not gonna lie, I was waiting for you to make that call. You're like, oh yeah, no, like, that's fine, click, I'm going back to bed.
The both of you.
Shut up. You wouldn't have fucking woken up. You got up at like 10 o'clock, like, oh, we didn't go hiking?
I woke up at 7. like 7:40, whatever. I normally wake up at 8.
What?
Yeah.
I normally wake up at 8.
Oh. Hey, I woke you up a half hour early.
Yeah. Not good.
But I think the point is, having somebody to hold you accountable, whether it's at the gym or on the walk with us every Sunday morning, is a huge factor of success. And if you want to use us to hold yourself accountable, we're going to hold each other accountable and make sure we show up every Sunday for you, and make sure we're here, and make sure we're giving you the best value we can out of these shows from an entertainment standpoint and from a physical health standpoint as well. Because that's really the premise of this show, is to get out and walk with us and add time onto your life.
Because trust me, when I looked outside this morning, saw the rain, it's kind of cool out. I was like, oh, hell, I don't go back to sleep. I don't go back to sleep. But no, we got to get it.
And real talk, usually we try to get here around 9, but we didn't really get out of the car until about 9:30. So even having a little bit of a late start, we're still here. We still showed up. We're still getting that money. Some of you guys watching know you probably came from one of the Red Naps channels to check out this podcast, because we've been sharing it on there so that we could bring more awareness to the other side of what we're doing. But I was at Naps last night, and there was a group of people, and I do this thing where I'm always listening all the time. Sometimes if I'm in like a deep zone, I'm in my own head, but I'm trying to hear what people are saying about Naps while they're eating it. Because most of the time people look at me and don't think that I own it. They just think that I'm a manager, and so they're more open to say things that are on their mind, versus, at least from the last 3 years, what I've learned is when somebody's talking to the owner, their attitude changes a little bit. That's why I dress the way I do, and I don't try to stand out as the owner. A, because I choose comfort versus fashion, but B, because I know that I'll get better insights out of the people eating at Naps. So what I heard them say was, oh yeah, they came into a little bit of money, and money really changes people. Now,
Who's
in your
they?
guys' opinion, do you think that statement is true or false?
Who were they talking about?
I don't know who they were talking about, whether it was a cousin or one
Oh,
of their
okay.
friends.
Okay.
But they said that as soon as they got a little bit of money, it really changed them. So I guess I'll kick it off. My opinion is like a two-party thing, right? From my understanding and my beliefs, I don't think money changes somebody. I think A, it changes how people behave around you, but B, it also enhances the person you were before. So if you were an asshole without money, and then you got money, you're probably just gonna be an asshole with money. and vice versa. If you're out doing the right things and trying to provide value without money, then that same thing will translate when you get it. You guys agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hello.
How you doing? So, I don't have money, and I know a few people who do have money, and I've known them the whole time they've had money, and they've been cool people. If I would have known them before they actually had money, maybe I could speak more on that, but for myself, I can't see myself changing. I'm old, by the way. I'm kind of set in my ways, so as far as finances, I'll treat whether I have $1 or $1,000, I'll probably treat it the same. But people around me, I don't know, can't speak on that. I'm sure some of them would change. Mainly because I keep good people around me that I know are deep down good fucking people. So I don't really expect too much change from them, but the people just outside of my circle, yeah, I can see some changes coming from them.
So from the other side of it too is like, you know, I'm gonna assume that we're gonna have not a young audience, but a well-rounded audience. And I think for the younger audience members, it's important to realize that because somebody might have a nice house or a nice car or nice clothes, doesn't mean that they're well off. You know, you look at
Motherfucker struggling to look good.
exactly, you know, and you look at the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musks, the Mark Cubans, the Jeff Bezoses of the world, and just look what they're wearing. Do you ever see them wearing Gucci, Louis, or Prada? No. You see them generally wearing t-shirts or off-brand polos. Mark Cuban was on that podcast with the collar. You like flip up? But Mark Cuban was on this podcast, and he said one of the favorite spots he likes to shop is freaking Target. And then so Bobby's like, "Oh, you probably got shares in Target." Hey, no, I don't have any shares in Target. I think that business is hard. You know, I like to invest in things that softwares and things like that, but you know, it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting to think about is the most wealthy people generally aren't the ones wearing this fancy stuff. But we look at the people wearing the fancy stuff or driving the fancy car, oh, they must be well off.
Hey, those people feed off other people. They need other people's admiration and approval and look how cool I am, or look what I have. Have all the money in the world and live in a shack and be happy.
I have a theory in life. If you can't afford to buy it 2 to 3 times, you probably can't afford it. And when we're just starting out naps, you know, I needed a new car. My car broke down. I'm dumping a bunch of money into this business to try to make it grow. And I had the option to go get a lease car, get something nice, something that's gonna last, something that other people would look at and go, wow, look at that car he's got. Or buy, you know, $3,000 junker and stretch it out for as long as possible. And I've had that fucking car for 3 years. You know? Where I see people spending $3,000 plus a year on a lease. You know, some people are spending $1,000 a month on a lease.
Yeah.
Right? Just think of the money that I save
For what?
by not,
To get from A to B
literally.
and we'll get a couple stairs.
It's silly. I put a $100 deposit on a Cybertruck. Not because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have this Tesla. Oh, this is nice. In my thoughts, I was like, if I buy this, it'll probably last me 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I could probably have this thing for 20 years with minimal problems. And even now, fast forward 3 years since that happened, I don't even know if I want to do that anymore. Not from a look at me standpoint, but just from a, I don't know, I just don't value things. I value experiences and times. And these moments right now that we're sitting and walking and talking and hopefully aspiring, like this is far more valuable to me than
For sure.
a nice car.
And the thing about nice cars is, like for myself anyway, is driving it.
Yeah.
Like driving a super fast car, or even driving in a luxury car and feeling how smooth the ride is. You don't need money for that. Because there's plenty of places that rent those out. You can rent it for a day, drive fast, or go to a track, drive around the track. You don't have to buy it. Unless you want to. You do you.
That's you, yeah.
Just be happy, be healthy. Chill talking to you all.
Start talking above. Share this with a friend you think that would get value out of it. We love you and we'll see you next time.